It is with a deep sense of humility and emotion that I welcome each one of you to this special gathering, remembering Raghu Rai ji. Today is not just an event, but a heartfelt coming together to honor a vision, a legacy, and a way of seeing that continues to live within all of us. I extend my sincere gratitude to Chandigarh Lalit Kala Academy for joining hands with Punjab Lalit Kala Academy to shape this meaningful and soulful evening. As we all know, music was not just something Raghu Rai ji admired, it was something he felt deeply within his soul. And so, in his remembrance, it feels only right that we begin this evening with music. So first of all, I will invite Madhdeep Singh ji. Madhdeep Singh ji, please come on the stage. Shukriya Madhdeep ji. I would like to invite Chairman Chandigarh Lalit Kala Academy, Shri P. Malhotra ji on stage.
Respected Diwan Manna ji, Rachna ji, Pramod Pushkarana ji, and all जो आज सभी रघु राय जी के चाहने वाले, तो मैं आप सबका इस शोक सभा में तो वेलकम करता हूँ। और जो आज का जो रघु राय जी का ये हमारी जो प्रेयर मीटिंग है 26 अप्रैल को उनका वो हमारे बीच नहीं रहे, तो दिस इज ग्रेट, ये हमारे लिए बहुत बड़ा लॉस था। और रघु राय जी की जहाँ तक बात है, मैं रघु राय जी का पर्सनली बहुत बड़ा फैन रहा हूँ। बचपन से जब से होश संभाला है, उनकी फोटोग्राफी, उनके कामों के बारे में देखते आए हैं, सुनते आए हैं। और मैं समझता हूँ कि चंडीगढ़ बहुत भाग्यशाली है कि वो इसी स्टेज पे रघु राय जी ने अपनी प्रेजेंटेशन, अपना प्रोग्राम किया हुआ है। हम सब यहीं पे बैठे थे और थैंक्स टू दीवान मन्ना जी, तो जो रघु राय जी को यहाँ लेके आए, तो एक बार नहीं 2 बार दीवान जी लेके आए रघु राय जी को। और हमें उनको देखने का, समझने का मौका मिला है। और रघु राय जी खाली फोटोग्राफर, फोटो आर्टिस्ट नहीं थे, वो बहुत बड़े फिलोसफर और साधु संत थे। जब आप उनको सुनते थे तो एकदम लगता था जैसे कोई साधु संत बोल रहा है कोई। बाकी जहां तक उनका जो उन्होंने इंडिया को जो कवर किया है, अपने आर्किटेक्चर कॉलेज की लाइब्रेरी में मैंने उनकी बहुत सारी बुक्स वहां पे रखवाई हैं। जो इंडिया को उनको देखने की नजर थी, रघु राय इंडिया, आपने शायद उनकी बुक देखी होगी, अगर नहीं देखी तो आप जरूर देखना। उनका हर एक चीज को देखने का एक अलग ही नजरिया था। मैंने देखा कि उनकी एक कंपोजिशन में, एक फोटोग्राफ में यू कैन सी मैनी कंपोजिशन, हर एक फोटोग्राफ उसका अपना अलग, अपने आप में कंप्लीट था। उनकी जो सेंस ऑफ कलर, लाइट एंड शेड, और जो उनको लाइफ को देखने का नजरिया। और मुझे तो कई बार ऐसे लगता है कि जो इंडिया आज है, आज इंडिया बहुत चेंज हो गया है और आगे और बहुत चेंज हो रहा है। जो इंडिया रघु राय जी ने कैप्चर कर लिया वो एक हिस्ट्री क्रिएट हो गई। तो वी सल्यूट टू हिज क्रिएटिविटी एंड हिज डेडिकेशन। और मैंने देखा कि जहां भी उन्होंने, चाहे आगरा था, चाहे दिल्ली थी, चाहे बनारस था, चाहे कलकत्ता था, और भी कई सिटीज हैं, उनकी खाली सिटीज को उन्होंने कैप्चर नहीं किया, सिटीज की आत्मा में जाके उनको उन्होंने कैप्चर किया। और कई बार हम खुद देखते रह जाते थे कि कहाँ पे कैसे पहुंच जाते हैं रघु राय जी, और कैसे सेंटर ऑफ इंटरेस्ट, फोकल पॉइंट, हर एक पिक्चर का उनका देखने का, कैप्चर करने का एक अलग ही अंदाज था। और मेरे ख्याल से उन जैसा फोटोग्राफर इसमें अमर रहेगा, और उनका जो काम था और पीढ़ियों तक और सबको इंस्पायर करता रहेगा। और इसके लिए मैं तो पंजाब ललित कला अकेडमी और चंडीगढ़ ललित कला अकेडमी, मैं आप सबका तहे दिल से थैंक्स करना चाहूंगा कि आप सब यहाँ पे इस प्रेयर मीटिंग में शामिल हुए। सो थैंक यू सो मच गुरदीप जी, थैंक यू सो मच।
As a mark of respect, a 1 minute silence will be observed in memory of Raghu Rai ji. Thank you. Now we are going to hear very short film, near about I think 17 minutes. Right.
See, I'd like to share a few experiences, the way from an ordinary civil engineer to a photographer, how my life has changed. You see, accidents happen in anybody's life. I never thought of becoming a photographer. Jog Joy was very gentle and very sensitive man, but he was a bit also very shy, so he was taking some pictures of the children outside the village very carefully. And I was standing by, I didn't know what to do. So suddenly I turned around, only the first picture, I turned around and I saw this baby donkey looking very gentle, sweet and Buddhu. So, I said, okay, let me take this picture. And since I had an ordinary camera and with an ordinary lens, so I had to get very close to the animal. And as I started getting closer, he got scared, he started running. And I followed a bit and the children started laughing. So I started running behind this baby donkey and children were having a great time and I was very happy that the children were very happy. So I kept chasing the baby donkey. It was late evening till this animal got tired and stood there right in front of me. And I took this picture. And I came back, my brother saw this picture, he says, wonderful. At that time, the Times newspaper, London, used to carry half-page picture of something humorous, something ironic, something funny, something strange. So they published this picture. Important part is then my brother gave me a better camera and then I started photographing daily life and anything new that came my way. But the precious thing about camera was that each time I put it on my eye and looked at the world through the camera, my concentration, my energies were getting absolutely concentrated and I could take a closer look at the world. Through the lens, it became a kind of a yogic exercise for me that I could really take a very close look at the world. And this is how the passion grew and things started happening in front of me. I tell youngsters, that, in any given situation, there is so much happening all the time. Only thing is, we don't have the patience to explore. The problem with bulk of us, where I'll also say I've spent millions of years doing repetitive work, and why I would like to share, my feelings with everybody, and especially the youngsters who want to get into photography, is that we have wasted millions of years directionlessly. At least now, we can share something which is very precise and to the point. And really, because what happens is, when you start taking pictures, we are all basically programmed human machines. The computers started very recently, but the computer installed here by the nature, by the God himself, is the biggest ever computer, and it keeps all memories, sounds and sights stored here. And especially in terms of photography, you've seen so many good pictures all over, and all those good pictures are stored here. So when we pick up a camera and we walk into the streets and we see something similar and we go bang, take a picture. So, you go on clicking pictures, and at the end of the day when you come home and if you look at your work very critically, you discover that, ऐसा भी देखा है, वैसा भी देखा है. देखिए, bulk of first of all, art is not about beauty, not at all. Art is about human expression and capturing human energy and human interaction. That's the magic where the image will stay alive. It's not about making a situation look beautiful or capture a beautiful landscape or a beautiful face. Beauty comes much later. First, it's the expression, the intensity and the magic of daily life or any important event or any big personality that you're photographing, that you make a connection, you capture the energy, the character of the person, and then you share it with the world. It makes more sense. But what is happening is most of us, most of the time, we are controlled by this mind. I photographed Indira Gandhi very extensively for many years, and that's why I have been able to do many books on Indira Gandhi. Can we see some of the pictures of Indira Gandhi? देखिए, how nice, it makes you laugh. This is not Indira Gandhi, I promise you. Critical situation, you will see her eyes calculating, manipulating who is what and where. This is our former president V.V. Giri. अब उनको कितना जेंटली, वो देखिए कितनी जेंटल है और कितने जेंटल तरीके से कुछ कहा है कि ये कर डालो, तो उनकी हवा सरक गई। जब वो किसी भी गिवन सिचुएशन में बैठती थी तो वो देखती थी और कैलकुलेट करती थी। And you can see that, and you see in terms of forms and composition, all those lines converging, emerging at one place from, and then going out, or coming in downward, and closer to her expression, they energize her journey and expression. This is how we look at pictures. Next. ये देखिए, they said she was the only man in her cabinet. So you can see everybody else, all those congressmen, many senior ones, the way they are waiting for the orders, and the man on the extreme right is nobody else but R.K. Dhawan. You can watch his expressions. You see, Indira ji said she loves the Himalayas. This was during Simla summit. So I sent in a request. I said, since you say that, won't it be a good idea if you let me take pictures? And she was kind enough. But the lawns on which we were walking, this wall was coming in the way. So I said, Indira ji, can you go up, and walk on this wall? She said, sure. But just look at her body language, her gesture, her mudra देखिए उनके हाथ की, देखा है? She was so careful about everything when she would be being photographed by somebody special in special moments. She'll take care of her pallu, her sari, her gesture, her body language. She was very alert. I remember once she said, you come home, you take picture with my grandchildren. So as I walk in, it was towards the evening. She was tired by that time. And I walk in, and what do I see through the corridor? She's tired and hanging onto the door like this. And the moment I tried to pick up my camera, immediately she stood like this. This is Bhopal gas tragedy, an unknown child being buried, which became almost a symbol of Bhopal gas tragedy. And then, many NGOs and organizations collected a lot of money on the basis of this photograph, and the rest of the picture I sent them for the purpose. Here you see these gypsy girls, the way light is falling. So, the feeling I get when I'm taking a picture, I try to reproduce in terms of black and whites. So the sunshine falling on half page is exactly like that, and the other faces in the shadow. Of course, here you can't see the details because there's too much of light. So you go bang for a subject. This is, when my son was born and my father came to see him, so he was holding his hands and talking to him, So I came, right behind him, and I looked at these hands and I said, please put them together. So you can see the tenderness and the age, the texture, sensuality. They say, it's even the baby can feel this, So this is, today we are scared of so many things, in expressing ourselves on so many levels. But look at the child. They are not scared of expressing themselves the way it comes to them. This was after the rain, and you can see the water patches, even those lines and patches that form a composition, and yet the expression of the lady is so intense, Now, when I am not a serious photographer and I'm just playing around with the camera, I've got no baggage to carry as a professional photographer or as a creative photographer. So I'm interacting absolutely freely and without any problem, without any challenges. And most of the time, then you have no extra baggage and everything is happening for you because it's your instinct at play. And when instinct tells you or gives you a nudge, the magic happens and the picture remains eternal. Next, please. This is again, in one of the rural areas in Delhi, children, I used to call it junior bullfight, they were chasing this little calf, and having fun. Next, please. This is outside the Birla Mandir. You can see the old men and the their sticks and the vertical forms of the mandir. They are in a kind of an alignment. Chaliye. You see, I have just finished editing my book on Delhi. Now, this picture was taken about 40 years ago. When I say photo history of our time, and today, when you go behind the Humayun's tomb in Delhi, it does not exist the same way. Things have changed so drastically, but look at this world, which is so amazing. And this is how the world is changing so fast. So photographic sensitive record of things has lot of value about it, ये नेकचंद जी का है, क्योंकि नेकचंद जी की जो फॉर्म्स बड़ी फोकिश होती हैं और उनके अजीब अजीब सी फॉर्म्स और फनी एक्सप्रेशंस और सब उनकी दुनिया वो अपनी क्रिएट करते हैं. तो मैंने देखा जो बादल है ना वो भी वैसे ही थे, तो सारे मिलके बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग फ्रेम बनता था. चलिए ये देखिए, इस जो ये इमेज है इसको मैं सोचता हूं कि उसकी देन है कि जब आप मेहनत करते हैं, करते जाते हैं, तब नेचर कहती है कि ये ले बेटे, ये भी है तेरे लिए. कि मैं शाम को, हमारे एक मुस्लिम दोस्त हैं दिल्ली में, वो हमें ले गए कि हमारे रिज से, हमारे घर से आप देखिए जामा मस्जिद कैसी लगती है. तो मैं घंटा भर 2 घंटे भर वहाँ फोटोज खींचता रहा. खींच के जब अंधेरा होने लगा, लाइटें जल गई, तो मैंने कहा चलो नीचे उतरते हैं. जो ही मैं नीचे उतरने लगा, मैंने सामने देखा घर में ये एक लेडी नमाज पढ़ रही हैं, जामा मस्जिद सिटी, और जो क्लाउड्स भी हैं उनमें भी देखिए कितनी इंटेंसिटी है. This is Imambara, which is the most beautiful architecture and structures, on so many levels. But see the condition and see the boys, how they are people, we behave with these great heritage. This is, the husband and wife, they were pushing the cart. And I found it very interesting. So I kept chasing them, walking with them, And till suddenly, they reached this place with the building next to it, and the whole frame, the boxes of the building, they become one huge form. And this lady's movement and action energizes the whole space, And I remember first time when I met Mr. Satyajit Ray, whose films I admired a great deal, he says, Raghu, I can't forget that image I saw in one of the exhibitions. Can I have a print? And I felt very proud about it. Now look at this, the texture, the expression of the elephant. And below him, you can see the Pushkar Fair. Now what happens in Pushkar Fair when they come and they come to buy and sell the camels? They open their mouth, they see their teeth, and then they decide the quality and the life of this camel. So here they are opening, and look at the expression of the camel, as if he is, making fun at them or laughing at them, So this is the magic, about this picture. ये कुमार जी हैं, जिन्होंने आप में से जिन्होंने कुमार जी को सुना हो, तो उनकी बिल्कुल आवाज समझ में आने लगती कि वो क्या हो रहे होंगे. देखिए उनकी एनर्जी, देखिए उनके हाथों में वो एक्सप्रेशन, देखिए नेक्स्ट वाला देखिए. मैं अपने जो क्लासिकल म्यूजिशियंस हैं उन पे बुक कर रहा हूँ. मलिक अर्जुन मंसूर जो बड़े ही संत फकीर आदमी थे, ये देखिए अब ये वहां की आवाज से कनेक्टेड है, उससे सुन रहे हैं और फिर शायद गाएंगे. ये जो साइलेंस, द स्पेस इन बिटवीन that becomes silent and connects to the other energies, and then you get it from there, that power. ये कनेक्शन क्रिएटिविटी में बहुत कीमती है.
ਇਸ ਵੀਡੀਓ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਹੈ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਅੱਗੇ ਕੁਝ ਬੋਲਣ ਦੀ ਲੋੜ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ। ਇਹ ਵੀ ਜਾਪਦਾ ਕਿ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਰਘੂ ਸਰ ਅੱਜ ਸਾਡੇ ਵਿਚਕਾਰ ਹੀ ਨੇ। ਉਹ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਅਹਿਸਾਸ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਇੱਥੇ ਆਰਟਿਸਟ ਆਰਟ ਲਵਰਸ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੇ ਵੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਕਿਸੇ ਵੀ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਆਪਣਾ ਟਾਈਮ ਬਿਤਾਇਆ ਹੈ, ਉਹ ਕਿਤੇ ਨਾ ਕਿਤੇ ਸਾਡੀ ਯਾਦਾਂ ਤਰੋ ਤਾਜ਼ਾ ਹੋ ਗਈਆਂ ਇਹ ਵੀਡੀਓ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ। ਇੱਕ ਇਨਸੀਡੈਂਟ, ਮੈਂ ਦਿੱਲੀ 'ਚ ਸੀ ਤੇ ਕਾਫੀ ਆਰਟਿਸਟ ਫੋਟੋਗ੍ਰਾਫੀ ਫੀਲਡ ਦੇ ਆਪਸ 'ਚ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਚੱਲ ਰਹੀ ਸੀ ਫੋਟੋਗ੍ਰਾਫੀ ਦੇ ਉੱਪਰ, ਇਮੇਜ ਦੇ ਉੱਪਰ, ਆਰਟ ਵਰਕ ਦੇ ਉੱਪਰ, ਫੋਟੋਗ੍ਰਾਫ ਦੇ ਉੱਪਰ। ਤੇ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੇ ਰਘੂ ਸਰ ਨੂੰ ਪੁੱਛਿਆ ਕਿ ਕੰਪਲੀਟ ਫੋਟੋਗ੍ਰਾਫ ਕੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ। ਇੱਕ ਫੋਟੋਗ੍ਰਾਫ ਨੂੰ ਕਦੋਂ ਪੂਰਾ ਮੰਨਿਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ, ਉਹ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਅਚੀਵ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ। ਤੇ ਰਘੂ ਸਰ ਨੇ, ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ, ਜਦੋਂ ਵੀ ਕੁਝ ਇਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੀ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਤਾਂ ਉਹ ਇੱਕ ਦੋ ਸ਼ੇਅਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੀ ਆਪਣੀ ਗੱਲ ਪੂਰੀ ਕਰ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਆ, 2 ਲਾਈਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੀ। ਤੇ ਉੱਥੇ ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ, ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸ਼ੇਅਰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਉੱਥੇ ਬੋਲਿਆ ਸੀ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਸ਼ੇਅਰ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ, ਜਿਹੜਾ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਹੁਣ ਵੀ ਯਾਦ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਬੜੇ ਦਿਲ ਦੇ ਕਰੀਬ ਹੈ। ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ, ਨਾ ਹਮ सफर ना किसी हमनशी से निकलेगा, ना हम सफर ना किसी हमनशी से निकलेगा, हमारे पांव का कांटा हमी से निकलेगा। ਤੇ ਇਹ 2 ਲਾਈਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਪੂਰੀ ਗੱਲ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਰੱਖਤੀ ਉਸ ਆਰਟਿਸਟ ਦੇ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ। ਦੂਜਾ, ਇਸ ਵੀਡੀਓ ਤੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੱਕ ਚੀਜ਼ ਹੋਰ ਦੇਖੀ ਹੋਣੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਪੂਰੇ ਹਿੰਦੁਸਤਾਨ ਨੂੰ ਆਪਣੇ ਅੱਖ ਰਾਹੀਂ ਕੈਪਚਰ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੈ, ਜਿਹਨੂੰ ਉਹ ਵਿਲੱਖਣ ਅੱਖ ਕਹਿ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਔਰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਜਿੰਨਾ ਕੁ ਵੀ ਮਤਲਬ ਮੇਰੀ ਜੋ ਕੁਝ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਮੀਟਿੰਗਸ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਈਆਂ, 5-6 ਮੀਟਿੰਗਸ ਹੋਈਆਂ ਨੇ, ਤੇ ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਮੈਂ ਇੱਕ ਚੀਜ਼ ਦੇਖੀ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਬੜਾ ਸੋਲਫੁਲ ਸੀਗੇ। ਤੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਵੀ ਕੋਈ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਕੋਲ ਖੜ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਸੀ, ਅਗਰ ਕੋਈ ਨੈਗੇਟਿਵ એનર્ਜੀ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਪੋਜ਼ਿਟਿਵ ਬਦਲ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਸੀ। ਤੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਡੂੰਘਾ ਬੋਲਦੇ ਸੀ ਫੋਟੋਗ੍ਰਾਫੀ ਨੂੰ ਲੈ ਕੇ, ਤਾਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਕੋਲ ਬਹੁਤ ਕੁਝ ਸੀਗਾ। ਤੇ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਇਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਇੱਕ ਸ਼ੇਅਰ ਹੈ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਹੋਰ ਸ਼ੇਅਰ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹਾਂਗਾ, ਜਿਵੇਂ ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ, कहीं मंदिरों में दिया नहीं, कहीं मस्जिदों में दुआ नहीं, कहीं मंदिरों में दिया नहीं, कहीं मस्जिदों में दुआ नहीं, मेरे शहर में है खुदा बहुत मगर आदमी का पता नहीं। तो तुसी समझ सकते हो, क्योंकि हर कैमरा लगे फिर रहा है, तो लेकिन जी गल फोटोग्राफी वाली होनी चाहिए है, ਉਹਦੇ ਲਈ ਬਹੁਤ ਇੱਕ ਡੀਪ ਸੈਂਸ ਹੋਣਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ ਹੈਗਾ, ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕਿ ਰਘੂ ਸਰ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਹੀ ਸਟੇਜ ਤੇ ਸ਼ੇਅਰ ਕਰਦੇ ਸੀ। ਹੁਣ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਵੀ ਦੇਖਿਆ ਹੈਗਾ, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਯੰਗਸਟਰਸ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਸਪੈਸ਼ਲੀ ਇੱਥੇ ਗੱਲ ਕੋਟ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈਗੀ। ਸੋ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਤਾਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਨੇ, ਤੇ ਲੇਕਿਨ ਅੱਜ ਸਾਡੇ ਬੁਲਾ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਵਿਚਕਾਰ ਸਾਡੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਪਿਆਰੇ ਸਤਿਕਾਰਯੋਗ ਤੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਸ਼ਹਿਰ ਦੇ ਰਹਿਨੁਮਾ, ਬਹੁਤ ਵੱਡਾ ਨਾਮ ਹੈ ਕਲਾ ਜਗਤ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ, ਫੋਟੋਗ੍ਰਾਫੀ ਫੀਲਡ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ। ਤੇ ਰਘੂ ਸਰ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਪਰਿਵਾਰਿਕ ਤੇ ਪਰਸਨਲ ਫਰੈਂਡਲੀ ਰਿਲੇਸ਼ਨ ਵੀ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈਗਾ। ਤੇ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਤੋਂ ਸੱਦਾ ਦੇਣ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ। ਦੀਵਾਨ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਜੀ, ਪਲੀਜ਼ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਟੇਜ ਤੇ ਆਓ, ਤੇ ਮੈਂ ਚਾਹਾਂਗਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਐਕਸਪੀਰੀਅੰਸਿਸ ਨੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸ਼ੇਅਰ ਕਰੋ ਸਾਡੀ ਪੂਰੀ ਪਬਲਿਕ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ, ਪਲੀਜ਼। ਇੱਕ ਵਾਰ ਜ਼ੋਰਦਾਰ
Good evening, friends. I think, as Gurdeep said, that after listening to the great master, there is hardly any need for anybody to speak. Since I've been asked, and I've had such a wonderful, loving relationship with him and his family. He was not only my dear friend, he was a mentor, a guru, and a very fatherly figure for me. So given this background, I am actually struggling to actually put my thoughts together because I cannot really think of talking about him in the past tense. It's really very difficult. It's very difficult to believe that he's not amongst us anymore. Anyways, I first, if I recall correctly, I met him for the first time sometime in 1985 or 86. I'd gone to meet him in his office in Connaught Place, India Today, and look at the gracious attitude of the person. I was only, I think, 26 or 27-year-old. He invited me for lunch, and I had gone with a friend. He took us to host the restaurant there. And after that, our friendship grew, and then he came to the Chandigarh Festival, which happened in 1987 here, organized by the National Cultural Center, where we had honored him among all the other personalities. Then we kept on meeting each other. What actually drew us together was his unveiled love. And he was so full of love and passion and intensity and seriousness about everything he did. He was never ever flippant. He would always put all his energies, focus completely into the subject he was addressing, whether it's photography, food, drinks, laughter, traveling, मस्ती करना, हर चीज में उनके it was so intense that he took life so seriously and so lightly. One couldn't believe at the same time this man is able to kind of navigate all these worlds in a single moment. A few things which I recall about him are some anecdotes, because we traveled together quite a bit with Banaras or Nagaland or Calcutta or Hola Mohalla or other places, and he was somehow he gave me so much of love, and perhaps I was also forced to reciprocate with that love, because he was full of love, full of energy, full of passion, full of sense of wonder, curiosity. He was always like looking here, there. And when we were traveling, he was, I think, almost, say, about 20 years older than me, or maybe a little less. When we were traveling together, like I am a bit distracted by one subject, suddenly I found Raghu is not to be seen anywhere. He would go 200 yards away within moments. His movements was so brisk, so supple, so gentle, and he would get directly into the subject. So up close, you could not believe that such a tall person and with the camera in his hand, and he would go up close into the subject, and the subjects were so unaware of his presence. It was a rare of the rare gifts which somebody could get from Almighty. He had it, as if he doesn't exist. That's why he was able to capture all those moments which were so natural. Once I remember we were in Banaras, and he was photographing a sadhu, a Naga sadhu. He was sitting on his dhoni with ash and all everything around. Suddenly the sadhu comes up, jumps out of his platform, and puts his trishul on the neck of Raghurai. He's give me money. And Raghurai is not giving. I'm panicked. There was a policeman standing next to him, and I was trying to get hold of the policeman to kind of intervene, and the policeman was very uninterested, and I was worried that he may not hurt Raghurai. And as I was trying to kind of bring them away from each other, like Raghurai said, no, stop. So I said, what happened? He said, I am actually seeing what he can do to me. He said, I have caught his bluff. I was trying to capture a moment which he probably did not want to show. That is Bhogulpan, that is what, and he's smart enough that he's sensed that what I was going to do. He's not actually asking of money, he's actually taking that revenge that I was taking that picture. And that's such a daring person, at the same time such sensitive, gentle soul. That was only Raghurai. And we all know about his love for music, but his other foremost love was plants. Wherever we were, whether in Kohima or Calcutta or elsewhere, every Saturday, before the Saturday come, Devang, let's take a flight, go. My farm is calling me. And from there also he would go to nurseries, pick up plants in his lap, like little babies. He would carry them in flight, inside the flight, and through the security checkups everywhere. He would not bother whether they're heavy or light. He would bring them. Once we were at his farm and he took me to his attic and he says, "Diwan, मेरे इस farm पे, इस जमीन पे पूरे देश की मिट्टी है." Can you guess? ये कैसे आई? I couldn't. He said, मैं जहाँ जाता हूँ वहाँ से एक plant लेके आता. He was so much of love for this country. He hardly photographed abroad. It's only later years he started doing it and he showed it also. But his main focus was always on India. As we all know, he is the only exponent of the art of photography in our country after the independence of the country who has continuously recorded, documented every event, every change, every progression which has happened in our country, be it political, religious, social events or other, like Operation Blue Star or Bangladesh or Bhopal gas tragedy. He was everywhere. He was not only a photojournalist, but he was also a sensitive, gentle. I'm sorry, I keep repeating about that because he deserves that. He was such a connected person. He was a very spiritual man. And he really believed. Sometimes I felt very uncomfortable by the kind of belief he had in people. Like you must have heard about Nirmal Guruji. And he bought his house in Mehroni, Dadabadi, and he invited all of us there. And Guruji's presence was there with a chair, and he especially took me to the Guruji. I was very reluctant, I didn't believe in Gurujis and Babas and all that. And he just made me meet him. He even had Guruji's jutti put in his kind of a ala, what you call it, a kind of small niche in his house with a mala around it. Once we were sitting in his farmhouse, having beer and having a glass of wine. There was a glass of wine lying there, and some butterfly comes from here and there. The butterfly sits on his head, then flies by, comes and sits on his shoulder. He says, "Diwan, ye mere Guruji hai. The Guruji aaye hain." This is the kind of belief he had. And the butterfly came and sat on the glass of wine's rim and had a little dip. He says, "Guruji ko mere saath wine share karni thi. Guruji aaye hain." So this is the, and he later started believing in Sadhguru and many other places. I am still unable to actually understand his kind of interest and belief or faith in that. But when I reflect upon that, and I have the Guruji's calendar in my home because he gave it to me every year. He was, perhaps because of the spirituality, he was able to connect with the kainat, with the universe. There's a famous joke about him that where did all the clouds come from in Raghurai's pictures? Did he plant them? Or did he do some manipulation in the dark room? It seems all the energies are converging around him, and he is able to capture that rhythm of life and the connectivity with thoughts, with ideas, with the events which are happening in the society, reflecting upon them and expressing them through those pictures. And the music, he actually wanted to be a musician in his life. He even went to learn classical music for some time. That was his greatest regret, that he could not become a musician. And in fact, it was a constant in his life. Always, every time, whatever he is doing, classical music would be playing at the background. In his house, in his office, wherever he went, in his car, wherever. So that you can see the movement, the gestures, the postures of the body, the limbs of the persons, or a branch of a tree, the cloud above, or the sun, or even a goat, or a cow, or a crow. Something would suddenly come into his frame, which would make the frame complete. It was so difficult to take any element out of his pictures. Everything seemed to be, as you all know, that he used to say, the famous Katya Brasson quote that a moment capturing a moment. He said, ये हमारा देश इतना विलक्षण, इतना विशाल है, इतना बड़ा है, इतना कुछ घट रहा है इसमें हर वक्त. How can you capture a moment? There are thousands of moments in that moment. And that's what he was trying to capture in his pictures. You can see all the pictures, there's so many things happening at the same time and completely in harmony, as if there is a symphony playing somewhere. There is that rhythm that you could feel in his pictures.
and those textures, those gradations, the blacks and whites, and he was a master of darkroom. His digital and computers came much later, the Photoshop, etc. But he used to make his picture in the darkroom. And many of us probably would not know, because nowadays we take digital pictures. Even during our time, we used to click on the film, and some people would take the film to the lab and get it printed. Unless you do your own developing, unless you do your own processing and print, making the print, it is very difficult to get the essence out of that print or that image. Because you have seen that, you have experienced that moment, that location. And if you are not really presenting it the way it should be, all those textures, the darkness, the blacks and the whites and tones, if they don't come perfectly fine, the picture doesn't speak to you. It becomes flat. It becomes sometimes meaningless. I've seen that happening to my own pictures when I was not really that well versed with the art of darkroom techniques. I could see, why are my pictures so flat? Why don't they actually tend to speak to me? How can I expect them to speak to somebody else? Or how can somebody make some meaning out of it? It's very difficult to connect with the audience, especially with the subject like photography, which is kind of recording the reality which is happening around us. So that's what Raghu Rai was able to do. And Raghu Rai was everywhere. It's so difficult to imagine that he would be sensing that something is happening at the Operation Blue Star. He was there day before in Amritsar. And he managed to actually steal himself into the Golden Temple. Photographer was banned, and camera, no way that you could take a camera inside. And then he borrowed from somebody a very tiny small camera and put all मालाएं, हार जो गेंदे के फूल की अपने सारे आसपास डाल के 5-7 और बंदों को फूलों के गुस्सा से लेके he went inside and hid his camera inside, and from there he was taking the pictures. And 2 days later all these pictures were published in India Today, and then he got a call from Indira Gandhi office that how dare you print these pictures. So this is the kind of dare he could do. There are a lot of things which we can continue talking about. We all know that he was no doubt a genius, to say the least, and he was a great son of India, and we lost a great son, and we lost a friend, a person who was concerned, bothered about this country, about its people, about relationships, about where we are going and where we are not going, and all the other aspects of life you can imagine, be it Bollywood, Hollywood, or cricket, or fashion industry, all those things which we are, kind of immersed in, to kind of probably to take our sorrows away. And we know, millions and millions of people in our country are dying of hunger. They don't have sources to make two ends meet. At the same time, we have all these extravaganzas of the big artists, and artists are selling in crores, and artists are charging in crores for performing, and cricketers and filmmakers. But at the same time, there's another aspect of India which is to be seen, which could be seen through the eyes of Raghu Rai, to sensitize us a little bit, to think about a little bit more about the other part of India, which is also a part of us, all of us. Before I conclude, I would like to share with you an announcement. That is that when I was chairperson of Chandigarh Lalit Kala Academy, and then later Punjab Lalit Kala Academy, we had invited Raghu Rai to organize his exhibition and audiovisual presentations. During the Chandigarh time, he had given us free copyrights to print a picture of his image from Imam Bada, which the Lalit Kala Academy was selling at that time. But very graciously, the Chandigarh Lalit Kala Academy today, in the memory of the great man Raghu Rai, they are distributing those prints free of cost. And they may not be sufficient for all of you. I think there are 45 or 50 odd prints which they could get out of their archive. And whoever goes first gets it. This is the print you can have a look at. And since Raghu Rai was very, very fond of and loved with nature, and when they organized the prayer meeting in memory of Raghu Rai and the family of Raghu Rai in Delhi 2 days back,
they actually distributed little small saplings to everybody who ever came. So I got this idea from there. As a tribute to my friend, to my guru, to my fatherly figure, to my mentor, I have some saplings outside for everybody in his memory. Please carry one with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया, sir. Now, I would like to invite Rachna Singh, ma'am. Kindly come on the stage. She has written a book on Raghurai, sir, and she will share her experience with all of you. Please come.
दास कबीर जतन से उड़ी ज्यों की त्यों धर दी नीच दरिया. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The world knows Raghurai as a legendary photographer, as the father of Indian photography, as a man who not only photographed India but also taught us how to see it. But very few of us know Raghurai, the man behind the lens. It was my honor and pleasure to have been associated with Raghurai ji for almost 2 years while I was penning his biography, his memoir, Waiting for the Divine. And during those 2 years, I had these intense, vibrant conversations with Raghurai ji, where he talked about his art, he talked about his craft, he talked about his spiritual mentors, and most importantly, he talked about his pursuit, his lifelong pursuit of divinity. So he spoke to me and I documented whatever he said. And during the course of this documentation, during the course of the penning of this biography, I gained a lot of insights into Raghurai, the man behind the lens. And one thing you must remember, that when we were writing the memoir, he had almost, or his life's journey had come almost full circle. So what he spoke to me came from his perspective, which emerged from an experience of a lifetime, meditations of a lifetime. There's a lot to share about him, about the insights that he gave me, but the time is short, so I'm going to just talk about a few insights that I gained and I learned about him during the course of those 2 years, which resonated with me greatly. One thing, of course, that everybody knows about and everybody is talking about is the fact that he was very dedicated to his craft. For him, his craft was like an ishq, divangi. He called it his dharma. And he told me during these conversations how he learnt this lesson of dedication. He learnt it from his mother. He would, tell me this phrase that his mother often would say, "Aap na mariye, te swarg na jaiye." And he gave me the context of why she said it. He told me that theirs was a family of 12 people and they had limited resources, they had some financial constraints. So as a result, his mother had no help whatsoever. And she would be working the whole day round. She would sit down, take a breather, and then she would get up again and start working, muttering under her breath, "Aap na mariye, te swarg na jaiye." So Raghurai ji told me that at that time when I heard her say this, I was a young child. And I thought it was just such a sweet and beautiful thing that she was saying. It was only much later, he said, that I realized the significance of what she said. What she meant was that unless you are dedicated totally and madly to what you are doing, you cannot reach the heavens. And the divine will certainly not come down. So that became the core of his creative philosophy. In fact, in this book, he talks about 5 tenets of his creative philosophy. And this was the first pillar of his philosophy, of his creativity that he talks about. Then the other thing that really resonated with me was when he talked about the difference between dekhna and darshan karna. He would say that seeing means that you are just reproducing things. You then just become a recorder of events. But darshan karna is what is important. It is when you absorb the essence of whatever is there in nature and the world around. It is then that you become a true creative artist. And he in fact explained this difference by referring to an incident with Amrita Pritam. He told me how Amrita Pritam had connected with him for an interview. And during the course of the interview, the first question she had asked was, Raghurai ji, आप कितनी तस्वीरें खींचते हैं और उनमें से कितनी अच्छी होती हैं? And Raghurai ji always had a sense of humor and a presence of mind. He returned with a question and he asked her, Amrita ji, आप दिन में कितने लोगों को मिलती हैं और कितनों की दर्शन पाती हैं? And that for me became the true demarcation between seeing and darshan karna, which he talked about. Then I realized during the course of these 2 years that despite his stature, despite the honors that were bestowed on him, despite the fact that he was feted by, the press all over the world, he was a man of great humility. And I'll be very honest and say that perhaps I have not come across a man who was so grounded and so humble. And there were a lot of incidents that reinforced my belief in his humility. I remember when we were stitching up the final book, his memoir, the publisher wanted that we should have the photograph of Raghurai ji on the book cover. But Raghurai ji categorically refused. He said that would be self-indulgence and he didn't want to get into that self-indulgence. Then when I started writing his manuscript, he told me, don't wrap up my life in mysticism. Make it simple. And I told him, I said, sir, you are venerated by so many people. Yours is a magical tale. How can I make it look pedestrian? And with absolute childlike simplicity, he said to me that I want people to connect with me. I don't want to be an inaccessible paragon. I want people to believe that they can become like me with dedication and hard work. And then there was this incident when he came back from a world tour of his photographs. It was a collection of his creative photographs and photographs of Bangladeshi refugees. And it was a resounding success. So the PMO called him and the Home Secretary said that you've done wonderful work, Raghuji, and we would like to honor you. We would like to give you the Padma Shri. And his response was not an entitled response. His response was, are you sure? So that was Raghurai ji. And then he told me why he became a freelancer. That is also a very interesting tidbit that I wanted to share with you. He said that as a photojournalist, he had developed this sense of entitlement. He felt that when I have a camera in my hand, it is my birthright to photograph anybody, everybody, anywhere, everywhere. And he said कि उस समय I had a devil may care attitude. I would feel कि क्लिक कर लेते हैं, बाद में देखी जाएगी. And he says मैं कुछ मनमानी भी करने लगा था. So in a moment of introspection, he realized that this would not augur well for his growth as a creative photographer or as a man. So he stepped back and became a freelancer. Then another aspect of his personality that really touched me was his sensitivity and also his innocence. In fact, one day I was talking to Syed Naqvi Sahab and I asked him, sir, what according to you is the essence of Raghurai ji? And he thought for a few minutes and he said, his sensitivity and innocent nature. And then he narrated this incident that had happened. He said that they were traveling and they saw a camp of Banjaras and they stopped, and Raghuraiji, with his usual vigor and enthusiasm, started taking pictures of the Banjarans. Now the headman of the Banjaran clan walked up to him, offered him the Banjaran women in lieu of money. And Naqvi Saab told me that he was devastated by how his interest in taking pictures of the Banjarans had been misconstrued. There were tears flowing down his cheeks when they left. And that was the kind of man Raghuraiji was. So there are, of course, a lot of incidents that I can talk about, but because of the paucity of time, I will refer to two aspects, or should I say thoughts, that he aired, which resonated very strongly with me and which are very close to my heart. He said that the greatest art is that which restores silence within you. And then he narrated a parable of the Buddha. He told me how Gautam Buddha would go from village to village giving discourses, and one day he was late in reaching a village where he was supposed to give a discourse. And the congregation became noisy, they started talking, and then he arrived. He sat on the divan. Some people sitting in the congregation saw him, they went quiet. A few others saw him, went quiet. And so slowly the congregation became completely silent. And so Gautam Buddha just offered flowers to the congregation and left after having restored silence. And then I asked Raghuraiji, how do you manage to convey this silence, transmute this silence to your work? And he says, which I think perhaps a lot of you might have heard, he talks about how you have to connect with every inch of space, every energy. And then he said, you go into a silent zone. And then something magical happens, an intensity. And the situation acquires your heartbeat. And that is when you connect with divinity. And that is when you become creative. That is that moment of creativity that happens, that aha moment that happens. And when he told me this, I thought it was a little bit of an abstract philosophy for me. But when I went and saw his exhibition in Kiran Nadar Museum, February 24, I realized what he meant. Because when I stood before his picture of Mother Teresa walking up the stairs with the image of Jesus Christ behind her, it almost felt as though she was looking at me and walking towards me. I felt a part of that frame. And then there was another photograph of the autumn leaves in Connaught Place. I became a part of the frame. I could hear the rustle of the leaves. I could feel and hear the crunch of those leaves under my feet. And then I realized what he meant by that moment of magical intensity when creativity happens. And then another thing that he told me, he talked about creative satisfaction. He said, I've written or put together almost 60 books. And he says, I don't care after I'm gone if they are read or they are not read. What matters to me is the creative satisfaction I got when I was putting those books together. So I feel that these two thoughts that he enunciated during the course of our conversation should become the core of philosophy of any creative artist in the world. That's what we need to learn from him. And I'm going to conclude with one sher that he would, quote at me. बाजी चाहे अतफाल है दुनिया मेरे आगे होता है शबो रोज तमाशा मेरे आगे. And Raghu Rai ji would dive into the spectacle, he would dive into that volatile moment and give us an image which was an insider's view. not the view of a keen observer as Bresson did, but as an insider. And today I will say that for me, Raghu Rai Ji is alive in his images, in this memoir in which he shared all his innermost thoughts, and in these, whole number of conversations that I have recorded, and I keep going back and listening to them every day. So thank you very much.
Well-known photojournalist Pramod Pushkarna ji kindly come on stage. He will also share his experience. Good evening, everyone. I share very little, but whatever I have worked with you and his elder brother, who he considered as a guru as well as teacher, whatever. But he used to say, काम रुकते नहीं है दिले नादान, खुद पे खुद गायब से समान होते जाते हैं। तो मुझे याद है ये शेर, जब मैंने वो रघु को कहा कि तुझे काम करने की जरूरत नहीं है, मगर तुझे अपने आप में एक इतनी इंटेंसिटी क्रिएट कर दे कि लोग अपने आप खुदा तुम्हें अपने आप समान गिरता रहेगा। तो इस तरह पाल साहब was a very dedicated person and his home was like a gurukul, and we all studied there. Raghu used to come there, and whenever he will come, he said, मेरी पिक्चर ये देखी आपने, कचरा है। तो वो कहा करते थे बेकार है, बेकार है। तो फिर उन्होंने जब ये कचरा का शब्द सुना तो उन्होंने अपनी जिंदगी में भी लगाया। मगर ये है कि उन्होंने अपनी तस्वीर को खुद क्रिटिसाइज करते थे, और उतना क्रिटिसाइज करते थे कि वो एक बार मैं फिल्में डेवलप कर रहा था तो करते करते उनको तो यार मेरे पास कुछ नहीं है इस बार। तो मैंने जब सारी फिल्में देखी तो उनमें से एक में ट्रांसपेरेंसी मिली जिसमें वो आगरा की थी, पूरी लाइट जो थी वो बिल्कुल सेंटर में पड़ रही थी और आगरा जो से चमक रहा था ताजमहल। इस तरह रघु जो था, रघु was very very sensitive and very critical of his own picture, and as well as he will say, let Pramod comes, he will drive my films. Thank you very much. Sorry, there were a lot of incidents. I could not tell because Madam has already told, and Dewan Mannari also told so many incidents, and Raghu Rai was one of the tragedy. He was flying somewhere, and suddenly while he reached, by the time he came to know the Bhopal gas tragedy, he came back. इसी तरह रघु बहुत सेंसिटिविटी से काम किया करते थे, और वो जब तस्वीरों को देखते थे तो कहते हैं जब ताज की तस्वीरें देखी तो एक भी तस्वीर नहीं निकली, तो उन्होंने जब मैंने कहा एक तस्वीर है, कहते दिखाओ, कहते यही तो तस्वीर थी बस। तो इस तरह रघु जो था वो बहुत सेंसिटिव, अपनी रिजेक्शन भी करता था और अपना काम भी किया करता था, और अपने लोगों को खुश भी रखता था। ये उसकी बड़ी अच्छी क्वालिटी थी। थैंक यू वेरी मच। Bhimsen, word of thanks, please come on the stage.
So good evening. So thank you very much everyone. आपने इतने पेशेंस से रघु जी की मेमोरीज को सुना, शेयर किया, और गुरदीप जी आपका भी थैंक यू वेरी मच. मुझे गुरदीप जी ने रात को 10 बजे तक बैठे रहे, ये पूरी प्रेजेंटेशन इन्होंने तैयार की है. सो दीवान मन्ना जी, प्रमोद पुष्कराना जी एंड मैडम रचना जी, इन्होंने भी बड़ा अपना इम्पोर्टेंट पार्ट शेयर किया है. और जो रघुराय जी के साथ इनकी एसोसिएशन थी, तो इनका भी मैं स्पेशल थैंक्स करना चाहूँगा. और जो ललित कला अकेडमी का स्टाफ है, पंजाब ललित कला अकेडमी, चंडीगढ़ ललित कला अकेडमी का स्टाफ है, उनका भी मैं तहे दिल से थैंक्स करना चाहूँगा. और इतना कुछ शेयर हो रहा था, तो मुझे लगा कि मेरा भी ना कोई थोड़ा बहुत रह गया जो मैं भी शेयर करना चाह रहा था. तो रघुराय जी के साथ 2-3 छोटी-छोटी मेरी भी मेमोरीज है. तो एक तो रघुराय जी दिल्ली में मेरा त्रिवेणी कला संगम में शो था, तो वहाँ आए थे, ये परमजीत जी थी, रघुराय जी थे, और मेरे वो रघुराय जी और एस पॉल जी, ये अक्सर ये फोटोग्राफर भी थे, आर्टिस्ट भी थे, ये कहीं ना कहीं घूमते हुए त्रिवेणी कला संगम मंडी हाउस में मिल जाते थे. तो मेरे शो में भी आ गए. मुझे उस टाइम बड़ा प्राउड फील हुआ कि रघुराय जी मेरे एग्जीबिशन में आ गए. तो उनको मेरा काम बहुत पसंद आया, फोगी मॉर्निंग का, तो मुझे बड़ा अच्छा लगा. और बाद में वही काम निमिता सिंह आर्किटेक्ट उन्होंने ले लिया. एक ये मेमोरी है. कई बार ना कुछ वैसे आज का दिन नहीं है याद करने का उन मेमोरीज को, तो मुझे लगा मैं भी थोड़ा शेयर कर दूं. एक साउथ जोन कल्चरल सेंटर की एग्जीबिशन थी और नेशनल एग्जीबिशन थी, उसमें मुझे अवार्ड मिला था. 6 फुट का बड़ा वाटर कलर था, और मेरी एक काई वाली सीरीज थी, सॉरी पिजन सीरीज. तो उसमें मुझे नहीं पता था कौन अवार्ड देने वाले हैं, क्या है. बाद में पता चला जब मुझे अवार्ड मिला, 2 लाख का अवार्ड था. उसमें रघुराय और जतिन दास जी जूरी मेंबर थे. तो मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा कि जो इस तरह मेरे में कि उन्होंने मेरा काम भी लाइक किया. तीसरी बड़ी इंटरेस्टिंग जर्नी 90 से 93 मैं दिल्ली में पहाड़गंज एरिया में रहा. ये आरामबाग है पहाड़गंज एरिया में. मैं दिल्ली में रहा हूँ 6-7 साल, 90 की बात कर रहा हूँ. वहाँ सरिता झंडे वाला एरिया, वहाँ बड़ी व्यायामशाला थी एक. तो वहाँ मैं घर के पास ही थे, मैं जैसे यूके स्कूल में जाता था, जॉब करता था. तो वहाँ मैंने कुछ फोटो खींचे थे व्यायामशाला में, मेरे तो घर के पास थी. तो मैं वहाँ पे वो फोटोग्राफ में वहाँ इफेक्ट्स में सिलेक्ट हुए, अच्छी कंपोजिशन बन गई थी. तो थोड़े 90 या 10 साल बाद रघुराय जी की कोई बुक निकली, तो मैंने देखा ये गुरु व्यायामशाला रघुराय जी ने भी कवर की हुई है. और फिर जब नेक्स्ट 10 ईयर्स के बाद रघुराय जी दीवान जी ने चंडीगढ़ बुलाया उनको, मेरे रूम में तो वो फोटोग्राफ अभी भी लगी हुई है कॉलेज वाले रूम में. पिछले 20-25-30 सालों से जो भी मेरा रूम, जो भी मेरा ऑफिस है, वो वाली पिक्चर हमेशा मेरे रूम में रहती है, अभी भी लगी हुई है, आप कल भी देख सकते हो. तो जब नेक्स्ट टाइम ये रघुराय जी इधर आए, दीवान जी ने बुलाया, मेरी हिम्मत नहीं हो रही थी कि मैं उनको दिखाऊं. ये अंदर से क्रैस्टिंग हो रही थी, बुक में मर्जी हर जगह छपी हुई थी. कंपोजिशन वाइज टोटली डिफरेंट, पर जगह वही थी वो कंपोजिशन. फिर मैं विद फिल्म रघुराय जी के पास लेके गया, मैंने उनको दिखाया भी ये जगह मैंने भी खींची है 90s में. तो इतने खुश हुए, उन्होंने इतना इंकरेज किया मेरे को. फिर तक दफाई यार तो भी बड़ी अच्छी कंपोजिशन बना गया वहाँ पे. तो दिस वाज द इंसिडेंट जस्ट टू शेयर, जो आज मुझे लग रहा था कि मैं भी शेयर कर दूं. तो ही वाज सो इंकरेजिंग. सो दिस वाज द सम मेमोरी फ्रॉम माय साइड. सो थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर कमिंग एंड फॉर लॉट ऑफ पेशेंस. और बड़े अच्छे से सुना आपने. और पंजाब ललित कला अकेडमी, चंडीगढ़ ललित कला अकेडमी फील्स ग्रेट. फील थैंक यू वेरी मच कि आप काफी अच्छी उसमें आप आए. तो इसके बाद आप तो थैंक यू वंस अगेन फॉर प्रेजेंटिंग ब्यूटीफुल प्रेजेंटेशन. जी 10-11 बजे तक बैठे रहे. तो अभी आप प्लीज, तो जैसे देवन जी ने अनाउंस किया है, हमारे पास कुछ पोस्टर हैं, कुछ प्लांट्स हैं, और तो आप फर्स्ट कम फर्स्ट बेसिस पे ले सकते हो, और चाहे फर्स्ट कम फर्स्ट बेसिस पे नहीं है. थैंक यू वेरी मच.
Thank you very much.